first time over here, and I really like the passion and the love people have for poetry. So I wanted to, first is I want to talk about the relevance of poetry. He's introduced me, so I don't need to introduce myself. But I feel like this is very important to talk about relevance of poetry, since we all are poetry lovers here. But all of us, I'm sure, have heard, I have heard at least, when people say, oh, it's just poetry. Like, poetry doesn't sell. Your editor tells you, your publisher tells you, poetry doesn't sell. But we are not writing poetry just so it sells. Not one poet will write poetry so that it sells. I don't think. Otherwise, you can't write. And poetry is something that is woven in our lives, whether we accept it or not. Like the lines by Thomas Frost, "The woods are lovely, dark and deep." These lines are they are placed on the top leaders of the world. They have it on their desk. So it touches people, poetry. Wherever it may be, you may not be aware, but your lines, whatever you write, it touches people. And why it does so? Because I think from a happy life, poetry doesn't arise. People say, like, at least I am told that, why are your poems so sad? But they're not sad, I feel. They reflect life. And if you haven't been through bad times, you don't have wounds, you are not broken inside, no poetry can come out, which will touch others. Because it's got to be so honest. So I think what a poet does, you stitch your wounds with your words and make a canvas out of it. I think that's what we do. So I think let's all respect each other, and other people should also learn to respect poetry. So I'll just tell you, like, my poetry is not profound or anything, because I'm a doctor. My head is filled with my patient stories. I just write about that. My non-fiction is that, my books are that, my poetry is about life, because I feel what real life, there's nothing more beautiful than real life, and more traumatic, more horrific, and most beautiful. It's reality, it's real life. I write about that. And the kind of things like I have seen, especially being in a rural area. I've been practicing now for 42 years. And I have seen the way India has risen. How when everyone says India is shining, I don't see it shining. It must be shining maybe in shiny cars or in shiny overbridges, but it's not shining. I haven't seen a change in 42 years, and I can't expect to see a change in the next 40 years. The girls are still treated that way. Things are still happening. Like people saw Nirbhaya, but I saw gang rapes in 1982, 83. I started my practice at 83. I was 24 years old that time. And my father, it was his dream. When I graduated, I was flying off to London. My husband's a surgeon. So we both had our tickets made. He had a job in London. But my father said, no, you have this clinic where there are no doctors. I want you to practice here. That's why this book is called The Reluctant Doctor. I hated it over there, like I'm a South Delhi person, and I was only 24, and I was in this village. I didn't know what to do. I hated the people. I hated myself. I couldn't even touch their sweaty arms, to check their pulse. That's how much I hated it. But I could leave it also, because there was no doctor. On my, first day when my father had arranged a havan and all, so I was like, I wanted to leave. I said, "Okay, next week I'm going to London." But there were 20 people sitting there, and they touched my feet. Some blessed me, and I could leave, And that's how few weeks became years, years became decades, and I'm still there. I'm still practicing. I saw my first gang rape in 85. It came in the newspapers. Nirbhaya came much later. I've seen domestic violence, I've seen bride burnings. My next book is on bride burning. I'm writing that. And the third is on honor killing. I have seen so many honor killings because it's a Jat area where I practice. They're rich people, Jats, but I've seen so many honor killings. And the fathers have come and cried in front of my kid because I'm the first person they come to, you know. So to have a bride burn, a woman lying on your stretcher, on the examination table, she's still smoking. The clothes are smoking. I have gone through it. So I have seen all that. My head is full of that. So that's why I paint, I write poetry to get out of that trauma. That is to survive, basically. This is like, and these stories, they had to be told. Because this is not about me, it's about my patients. About how India is still the same. There are still those babas and all those jhadas and everything is still going on. They are still coming to me with that. So where has India changed? It hasn't. So this is about this book. And this book, The 100 Dreams, this is like my favorite child actually. I took these pictures in 10 years, wherever I traveled. It's got only benches. The empty benches this book has. All pictures of benches from my travels wherever I went. And then I used to write poetry. So 10 years की poems हैं इसमें. It's a very slow book, like slow cooked meal. Slow poems, slow pictures, and then I realized I have 100 pictures. They're all from my cell phone. And I got this book. Then this is my latest. I took from this. I'll read one or two which are my favorite in this one. There was one which is kind of this one. Because if you write a prose in this, it will never, I'll have to write many pages of it. But that's the beauty of a poem. You can write a few words and it turns out like it expresses more than a chapter or a book, you know, would express. So this was in Canary Islands. We were just traveling and I peeped in a doorway, very narrow doorway. And I saw this dining table over there. And I took this picture. And then I wrote about it. I just read this poem. This is called A Family. Day by day, every day, perhaps a family sat here. I wonder if they spoke words that lynched the air, or if their loving silence hugged their hearts. Did they pass full dishes laden with empty words, or dishes half empty, garnished with piles of love? Did their hearts drizzle gold dust of joy, or were the dishes seasoned with quiet sorrows? Did they sit with unsmiling content, or they hid their discontent with excessive smiles? I do wonder about about the family that sat here, day by day.
Beautiful. Please say that again.
The last one.
Okay. Or the excessive smile.
Did their hearts drizzle gold dust of joy, or were the dishes seasoned with quiet sorrows? Did they sit with unsmiling content, or they hid their discontent with excessive smiles? I do wonder about the family that sat here day by day.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mama. Beautiful.
Just tell me when the time is.
I think it's going to be
I'll say bye then. Certainly, I guess. So, sometimes I write poems with my paintings too. Like I don't title, this is one of the paintings. This one. This book also has a barcode where you can, if you scan, the music will come like piano music. So you can read your poems in a nice ambience. So what was I going to read? I think उनकी तरह जो भी खुल जाए So this is titled The Ocean. So the painting is there, but it's been made black and white for publishers' convenience. So I'll read this. They said the ocean ran deep, silent and potent it stood, as if in contemplation, changing its tone all through the day and the night. The cadence, poetic at times, rebellious at others. It lunged, it screamed to be heard. It even left its soft sandy boundaries in protest for all who didn't acknowledge its gentleness like the nightly argument. At night, it slept with its back to all, hurt and teary. The ocean is personification of the author or the poet, yet apologized as usual each morning, as if sorry to exist, to breathe, and to just to be. Like the cauldron boiling over, it was an ocean, or was it the story of me? I should stop being the ocean goddess. This is, like a woman, she just keeps absorbing everything in life. Nothing comes out. She just becomes an ocean. And then one I have of domestic violence. Oh, no, can I
Let me read that one.
Okay, chalo, theek hai, fine.